Hi everybody, this week is Parshas Miketz. I'm making this video on the fourth day of Hanukkah. I heard this from Rabbi Shmuel Silber. The idea of the Dreidel, which is always a nice custom, and there's no mitzvah, but many families, and certainly children in school, play Dreidel. And it's to remind us of the miracle that God did for the Jewish people. And the way the Tamim Hagim explains is that we spin the dreidel from the top to remind us that it was God who provided the necessary miraculous energy for the Chashmonayim to overcome the powerful Yevanim. Rabbi Shmuel Silber pointed out that the Baal Shem Tov explains that all it takes to spin the dreidel, to put into motion, is a little flick of the wrist. And then it just spins and it can spin. And it's to remind us that in order for us to spread light in this world, it only takes a little flick of the wrist to put things into motion. Now, what does it have to do? Where's the connection between our parsha and this idea? This week's parsha opens up with Paro having dreams and Yosef being taken out of jail, and interprets the dreams for Paro and becomes second in command. But where did this all start? It started in Parshas Vayeshev in chapter 40, verse 6 and 7, where Yosef is in the jail with the wine chamberlain and the head baker. And one morning he wakes up and he says, "Why do you guys look so aggrieved? You guys look very different today. What's bothering you?" Yosef took the time to check in. I know there are times in my day where I have a lot on my plate and I see someone who's probably going through a hard time. And I ask myself, do I take the time to stop and say, "Hey, are you okay?" That actually took place this past week, where I was going through a difficult time, and one of my fellow colleagues ran across the room, called out my name, and I turned around and said, "Yeah?" And he said, "I'm just checking on you. You don't seem to be yourself today." And that's all I needed, to know that someone was there for me. That little twist, that little spin lit up my day and made the biggest difference. During these times that we are going through right now, I feel this extra layer of stress, and I don't even live in Israel. Checking in on someone is a form of self-care, because when we think about someone else, not only does it help them, but in reality, it helps us. That we're not just self-centered, but we're outward-centered. And that's a form of self-care. And all it takes is a little spin, a little twist of the wrist. So if you have a moment, look around and see if there's someone there who could use a check-in. And because Yosef checked in, he became the second most powerful man in the world at that time, saved his family and saved the world, and brought a great light to a world that was sorely missing it. If you like what you hear, please pass it on. Shabbat Shalom.